What's up YouTube? I'm Mike and this is my wife Sarah. This is the video that I've been talking about on my channel for some time now. For those of you who may be coming here for the first time, typically I shoot bodybuilding content and crazy life stories about my extremely addictive personality. What I did not know about being a person who has struggled with drug addiction in the past is that apparently shopping accesses all of those same type of neuronal pathways in the brain. And so over the course of the last 3 or 4 months of my life, I have developed a completely out of control designer slash luxury shopping addiction. So I spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 to $50,000 over the course of the last 3 to 4 months. And so I just decided, why not do a massive haul and bring out all of these products that we've purchased before I inevitably have to send them all back, is what I'm afraid is going to happen, so that we can figure out how to pay for everything. So this is not really going to be a video going so much into reviews. What I may do later on is do some more smaller videos if anybody's interested in actually hearing reviews of the individual products. Basically what I'm here to just show today is the fact that if you happen to be wired like me and you happen to have the money to get yourself into this level of trouble, you have to be very, very careful, because the sky's the limit. We started out, this entire adventure started when I decided to buy my 5-year-old daughter her first big girl purse. And so we went to the mall and we went to all the little boutique shops and we looked at some designer stuff. We started mainly in design. We like going to Coach and Tory Burch, and we looked at some, a little bit higher end items, and she got waited on by everybody and she had this really great experience. We all had this great experience. And I ended up buying her a $350 little pink Tory Burch purse. This little bonbon purse right here, which you will see my daughter model for you later on in the video. So we bought this purse and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. That night, laying in bed, my wife and I were replaying the experience that we had with our daughter, who's just the sweetest angel in the world. And she was like, Sarah was like, I was kind of jealous. Like it was so much fun, and the whole experience. And I said, well, cool, like why don't we go back and we'll get you something nice. We have never been a family, like I have nice electronics, like I spoil myself with electronics and gadgets. I have a fishing boat, we drive nice cars. But when it came to clothing, like if it wasn't on Amazon or at Kohl's, like we weren't wearing it. And so I had no idea what I was missing out on. And then we went into some of these stores and started looking at some of these, having this very different experience in life, and we got sucked into it. So I'm gonna let Sarah show you some of the things that she got. What we did after we bought the Tory Burch bonbon purse, again for $350. The reason I'm putting these numbers out there is because I want you to know what we paid for it, so that we can try to actually get a running total for my own purposes to figure out just how insane this actually got over the course of the last few months. So what we did next is that we went to Louis Vuitton in search for a purse for my wife. I typically am the shopper in the house. Sarah really doesn't like shopping. So most all of the clothing and the shoes and the bags and anything that she wears, I usually am the one that seeks it out and researches it and picks it out. And I get it delivered to the house and she tries it on and we decide what we like and what we don't like, and we send back the rest. That's usually the way the process works. So I started looking at Louis Vuitton's inventory, and then finally we went into one of the boutiques and started checking out the purses. And so that's where this started, with the Tory Burch, and then with the Louis that I'm gonna have her show you. So I'm gonna let her sort of take over, and then we'll go item by item through all of the things that we have just purchased. So stay tuned for each one of those. I'm gonna try to figure out some way to timestamp this what I thought about doing was doing like a Versace section, a Louis Vuitton section, a Gucci section, because basically what happened was once we really got sucked into it, it was just sort of like a buffet line of like luxury items. So we decided we might as well sample everything. So she's got Chanel and Dior and Louis and Gucci and Oscar de la Renta and you name it. There's very few brands that we didn't get something from. So I'll try to find a way to link this together, but I might not be able to. At a minimum, I'll try to tag everything in the description. So if you want to know what an item is, what the cost was when we bought it, and try to find it for yourself, you can do that. So here we go. Okay, so this was the first item that we purchased. We went to the Louis Vuitton boutique. I had actually picked out for her a white, this is the Louis Vuitton Twist MM. I had actually picked out a white bag that had a blue on the twist, on the LV logo, and they did not have that bag in store, and so we started looking at a lot of different bags. She looked at a black with gunmetal. She looked at, there was a number of different bags that we looked at, and she wasn't really falling in love with any of them until the girl said, oh, you know what? I have one more that I could show you. This is on our website, and the website really doesn't do it justice. And so she brings this purse out, and my wife fell in love. So tell us a little bit about the MM that you chose.
So it's, I was a little surprised I didn't see this online. It's got kind of a ribbed, the leather's kind of ribbed here. It's so pretty. And then it's got this, what would you call this? It's not really, not iridescent, but.
It's kind of a multicolored metal. I don't know how to really describe it.
It's more pink than kind of blue, but it kind of fades into like yellow, green, blue. It's so pretty. And then it's a twist, so it opens like this. It has the pink on the interior too. And when I went into the store, I was stressing about which one we were gonna get, and I'm looking at all these, I'm so stressed about spending this much money on a purse. And there was a girl that worked there, and she said, I just want to take some pressure off you, because this is your first Louis bag, but it won't be your last. And she was right. And so I went back over there, the lady showed me this one, and all the ones, I'm like, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful. And then when she showed me this one, I was like, that's the one. I was giddy with excitement. This was the one. And so I love that it has the chain, and then, this is the way I usually carry it, but it also has a leather shoulder strap, so I could carry it over my shoulder if I wanted. It's durable, it feels really good, and I love walking around with this bag.
So this was the first bag that we got, and this is one of the things that we learned together in our shopping experience, is that what I imagine Sarah wants is not always what Sarah wants. So that particular color combination, I would have guessed if I was looking at it online, was not at all what she would choose, and she fell in love with it. I actually was kind of wanting her to pick the black with the gunmetal LV. And what's interesting is that we're in the store just about every week now buying new products, and we got this back in the end of August, I believe, and August, early October, and the purse that I would have picked for her, the black with the gunmetal, still hasn't sold. So apparently I wasn't the only, or I was one of the few people who thought that was the ticket. So
maybe it's just there for us to go back and get.
Maybe we need we need to have them both. So to what Sarah said about, I don't know how this works with me talking off camera, but we'll find out. To what Sarah said about the fact that the lady told us that this is not your first Louis. What'd she say? This is your first Louis. It's not your last. I remember standing in the store and kind of scoffing, like.
Me too.
Yeah, it is. Like that purse was $46. I think it was $4,600, which was more money than I had ever in my lifetime. I'm probably cutting my head off. Never in my lifetime would I have imagined that I would be buying a $4,600 purse. I just didn't see it as being anything logical or reasonable.
And prior to this, I had the most expensive purse I'd ever owned was a $40 purse, except for the Coach bag that your mother-in-law bought me for Christmas.
Yeah, so she was carrying around a Coach bag that was a gift, and that was the nicest thing as far as handbags that we had ever had. So the thing of it is, though, it wasn't just the Louis bag that got us in trouble. It was the experience in the boutique. It's very, very different when you go into a Louis Vuitton store than when you buy a bag. I mean, the experience in Coach and these other places is great too, but obviously it's very different than
my Target experience.
When you grab a Target bag. So we bought the Louis Vuitton, the black MM was $4,600. And so we got that, and then about 2 weeks later, maybe, I had been shopping online and I decided, okay, we've got a black purse now. She had this white purse that she was carrying around, and so obviously you need to get a white purse to go with it. I can't decide whether I would be in frame or off frame. So I started shopping, looking for a replacement for her Target white bag.
Forever 21, $24 bag.
Yeah. So we ended up going to a place here in DFW called Highland Park Village, and we went to the Dior store, the Hermes store, Chanel, lots of different places, and we found the Chanel purse that we both fell in love with. It was a little on the big side, but it was quilted. It was beautiful. It wasn't really...
It was a classic Chanel, large classic Chanel.
Large classic Chanel.
Chanel flat.
So if you're into this kind of stuff, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this, then you'll know there was the large classic Chanel, and I was ready to buy it for her, 100%. And so she's kind of waffling back and forth, and I say to the girl, how much is the bag? Kind of quietly. And she says, it's $11,000. And I did my best poker face instead of going, oh, fuck, $11,000. I was not prepared for that particular number. But I loved the bag and the experience so much that I was willing to buy it for her. And I told the girl, do not let Sarah see that number, because that will definitely be a deal breaker for her. So we talked about it, and I said, do you want this purse? Do you love this purse? And she said, yes. And I said, do you love this purse? And she's like, how much is it? So I told her the price, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, this is, like, my first car cost $11,000. And we're gonna buy a purse that's white, for $11,000. It seemed insane. And so we decided, you know what, let's slow down a minute, let's take a break. And so we said, we're gonna think about it. And I said, look, we walked out of the Chanel store. I said, look, I'll buy you that purse right now, but my God, I mean, we could buy, 2 purses and 2 pairs of shoes that are still really nice bags for $11,000. Like, what are we doing here? So we decided to go to North Park again and look around some more. And this is what we came up with.
So we're walking around North Park, and Mike spots this in the Louis store, and he is like, oh my God, well, I've got to show her, because it matches my other bag. And with this braided chain, and it's the capucine, and it has that same iridescent, or whatever it is, look. It's such a pretty bag. It's got the little flap and all these little details that I saw it, and again, just like the other Louis, I just fell in love. And I was thinking, we're talking about diversifying and buying something of a different brand, but then I saw it and it was just the one. It was the one. And again, Mike talked to the lady about the price.
Yeah, so I see this bag in North Park. There's a Louis Vuitton boutique. And then inside of Neiman, Louis Vuitton has a much smaller space that they've rented, and so they have their own private space inside of Neiman. So we were in Neiman, and we were looking at, I don't even remember what brand bags we were looking at, and I see it like she's set up on the shelf. So we walk in, and we start looking at this purse, and to be totally honest with you, I had been shopping their inventory, and I had confused the capucine with something else. I don't know what I had confused it with. But we had just gotten through looking at an $11,000 Chanel bag. And Sarah's rapidly falling in love with this Capucine. And I'm like internally snickering because I think I'm getting away with one. So when the girl, when she asked what the price is, I almost interjected $39.50 because I had looked at a bag that I thought was this one and it was $3,950. So I'm thinking, wow, you know, $11,000, we're gonna get this thing. She found something she loves for $39.50. I'm making out like a bandit on this deal, which again, totally insane way of thinking. And the girl goes, it's $7,000. And so it's like, oh. But again, you know, I'm trying to stay composed. This is brand new for me. I don't want to do anything to take away from the experience. But it was a bit of a gut punch because you're thinking $39.50 and now you're at $7,000. And 2 weeks prior, you had just bought the most expensive handbag that you've ever purchased in life at $4,600, and now we're at $7,000, and we're standing in there in the store looking at each other, and it's one of those.
I'm saying no, we need to not buy something like this.
Yeah, she's saying no, we don't need to, but you know, you have that moment in life where like clearly you're not in control. It's like your brain is telling you one thing, but you can feel you can feel that you're about to make a different decision. You just know, like, I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do this. And I was just like, it's the one. Like, you love it. The little metal thing that is now becoming her signature look. The camera's really not picking it up, I think, but it's the way that the metal, when you bend it changes colors. It just seemed like the perfect bag for her. So we got it at $7,000.
Yeah. And it has little things on the bottom, which is perfect for a white purse. That's one of the things I wanted. And the Chanel bag didn't have that.
The Chanel bag did not have that. We were concerned with the white in general. The Chanel was like a lambskin,
yeah,
I think. It was very soft and supple and felt amazing. But when you're looking at a bag, especially of this price, we have 2 kids. You know you're going to get in the car and kind of throw it in the passenger seat or whatever. And the leather, the durability of the leather and the ease of cleaning, and like she said, it's got the little metal feet on the bottom so that if you put it on the counter, you don't have to be panicked that there's going to be some film or something that's been on the countertop that's going to bleed into your $11,000 white bag. And so this seemed like the more practical, you know.
Yeah, because $7,000
practical way to go. So while I'm standing here to try to keep this without me entering and leaving the frame so much, when she got the Louis bag, we're gonna do Louis first, I think is what we've got set up here. So this was the second Louis Vuitton purse, 2 weeks into this debacle. And so at one point, relatively recently, I decided that I needed to have some Louis in my life. And so, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, this belt that I'm wearing is a Louis Vuitton monogram belt. It's very, you know, it's thick, it's got the LV logo on it. I freaking love this belt. And this cost $590.
Yeah, $590.
Believe this belt cost $590. So far we're into Louis Vuitton, $4,600, $7,000, $590. And then I'm gonna let her get to some of the other things that we found from Louis.
This was what Paul got for Christmas.
Paul's our son,
yeah.
Our youngest son.
He's 12 and he was very excited to get this Louis Vuitton wallet. And can you see it's got the blues? His has the blues and it's the blue and gray. And it is, what do you remember what this one was called? It's one of the smaller.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Anyway, and he wanted one of the bigger ones, but it wouldn't fit in his pocket because he's 12. And so we got him one of these and he was really excited about it. And then also, we got these strappy sandals. So these are so pretty. This heel right here, it's like a little flower. Obviously I've been wearing them, so. And it's the, I mean, obviously it's the Louis, but it's so pretty. And then it's got your LV over here on the side, and they just look so beautiful on. And so maybe there will be some pictures or something of them on.
So let me sneak back in here real quick and talk a little bit more about these shoes. The way that we got these shoes is that we had made multiple purchases at Louis Vuitton at this point, and we had begun to develop a relationship with the client advisor, Bree, who, if you happen to watch this video, we love you, obviously. Thank you for all the experiences that we've had at your store. And so while I was buying this belt, and I also got a wallet myself, so I don't know if the camera's gonna focus on that, but that Louis Vuitton monogram wallet is mine, which was $500 or so. I had picked these shoes out, and while I was buying my belt and wallet, Bree says, hey, we're having a special event this Friday. We would like to invite you to come hang out with us. Obviously there's no requirements, but we're gonna have champagne, drinks. There's gonna be a violin player. There's gonna be a calligrapher. Please, we would love to invite you to come up to the boutique and have like a little social time Friday night. So we'd never done anything like that, and so we decided, okay, cool, that sounds like a really fun experience. So we got all dressed up in our best ball gown clothes, which is typically what we do. So to put something else into sort of reference, my wife homeschools our children, and I'm currently retired. I am now looking for reemployment because I have spent all of our retirement on things like strappy shoes from Louis Vuitton. So we go to this little formal event, and we have the best time we've had in so long, because we're usually trapped inside the house and doing nothing fun. And my son plays the violin, so he's hanging out with the violin player, and they're comparing notes. My daughter's meeting people, we're meeting people, and having great conversations, and the drinks are flowing, and so of course they're brilliant. They show you a great time. They soften you up with a little alcohol, get you good and pliable, and then Bree starts showing my son the wallets and the belts, and so she's doing a great job of promoting the product, and I start feeling good on these amazing vodka cocktails that I'm drinking, and I said, hey, when we went up there was zero intention of buying anything. We were just going to have drinks and hang out. We'd already spent over $10,000 in the last couple of months, and so it's like, you guys have gotten enough of our money. And then there you are, you're sitting there and you're having a great time, and you're feeling it. And I said, why don't you just try these shoes on? Because I had bought her this little dress like a couple of days before, had come in the mail. We had ordered it from Neiman, I think, and it's a shirt dress. And I felt like the model that wears the dress is wearing like little black strappy heels. And we'll show you some of the other shoes, obviously, that we purchased in this massive blow up, but none of them were strappy. None of them were this open toe look. And so the shopping thing for me has become box checking. Like, we need a black purse, a white purse, we need a mule, we need a sandal, we need a pump, we need a silver sandal, a silver pump, a red pump. Like, we need something from Chanel, something from Saint Laurent, something. Like, I'm just coming up with excuses to buy all of these things because I feel like we need to cover every conceivable angle. And so while we're there, I had her just try on the shoes, see how they feel. And of course, they had her size in stock, and she put them on and she loved them. And so we walked out of Louis Vuitton that night, slightly intoxicated with a new pair of Louis Vuitton strappy sandals. Well played, Louis Vuitton.
And a wallet for Paul.
And a wallet for my son. So what do we have next?
Your shoes.
Oh, yes, I'll stay on for this. So one of the other purchases leading up to our night out on the town at Louis Vuitton was we had been in the boutique shopping for something. I don't remember what it was. And I walked past the display and I saw these sort of dress shoes.
Wait. Let's just back that up, because what actually happened there was we were having an argument and you were angry with me. And you went shopping by yourself.
That's when I bought them. I'm talking about when I saw them.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, so we were at the mall together. I don't remember what we were purchasing. And I had walked through Louis and I had seen these shoes that are basically a derby, I think. But they have this very, very thick sole with the Louis like kind of design around the tread pattern. And I looked at them and they just kind of grabbed my eye. Because the thing with Sarah and I is like, we're not so much for the quiet fashion that's in right now. It's like, if I'm gonna spend $50K on a bunch of designer shit, you're gonna know what it is. And I know that's probably a trashy thing to say, but like,
but we're a little white trash.
But we're a little white trash. So you know where this belt came from. You're gonna know where these shoes came from. We're not rich people, so we don't have to do the quiet fashion thing. We're doing the very, very loud, in your face, look at these shoes fashion style in this house, to go with the look at these biceps mentality that we have. And so I had seen these shoes and I thought, I don't need, these shoes were $1,200 plus, under 13, they were $1,200 something for just a pair of shoes. I say just a pair of shoes. I fucking love these shoes. Yeah. But we did get in a fight, and that night laying in bed, I decided that I was going to go to Louis and I was going to buy this pair of shoes and like 3 or 4 $900 dress shirts and a suit. I was just going to go crazy because, unfortunately, I hate to admit this is a character flaw of mine. One of my ways of just being an ass, I guess, to when we get in fights is I like to go spend money. And so the next day I went to the store and I bought these shoes. I would have bought $300 worth of, $300, probably 3 $900 Louis Vuitton dress shirts if they made dress shirts that fit this particular size of frame. And they don't. I think I may have found one that's going to work, but regardless, they didn't have it in stock that day. So I was able to luckily just make it out of the store with the $1,200 shoes. And I think, does that complete the Louis Vuitton experience?
That's everything I can think of.
So that's what we got for Louis Vuitton. So now we'll switch it up real quick and we'll bring out whatever's next.
Okay.
The second brand that we kind of got into, and I'm trying to model a shoe on my arm. I picked these shoes out for Sarah. The second that I saw these, I fell massively in love. These are the Dua Lipa butterfly sandals, and they have these beautiful little blue crystal butterflies that crisscross up your leg so that there's just butterflies all the way up. And I thought they were the sexiest, most beautiful shoes I had ever seen. I think possibly I'm the only person in America who thinks that these are the sexiest, most beautiful shoes they've ever seen, because these shoes were $1,450, and about a month after we bought them, they were put on sale for 50% off, which was our first lesson in luxury / designer shopping. You have to be very careful what brand you buy and when or if you buy it. One of the things that I love about Louis Vuitton is when I bought her a $7,000 Capucine purse, I don't have to worry about walking into their store in 3 months or 3 weeks and seeing that exact purse massively discounted. And unfortunately, Versace does something which I really don't like, and that is that they discount their products sometimes very, very heavily. And so what that does for me as a consumer, if you happen to be one of these brands that does that, is it tells me that there's no reason for me to shop your product line until the sale happens. And the sale has been happening for months. So yeah, there's a risk that the product that you want is never going to be put on sale, but very rarely, if ever, have I seen, there's only like a couple of cases in all of the stuff that we bought where something we fell in love with actually sold out. And if you track inventory levels, which is relatively easy to do, you can kind of catch that before it happens. So The second thing, which I'll let Sarah talk a little bit about, and again, we're not really getting into reviews, but a sandal like this is very hard to size. So
what we found was just that, so in regular shoes, I'm a 37 and a half. I mean, or in US, I'm a 7.5 or an 8 generally. And all my other heels are 7.5. And so we bought these in an Italian or Euro 37 and a half, but they're very narrow. So the Italian shoes are a lot more narrow. And then we discovered that even compared to other Italian shoes like the Louis, this strap here over the top of the toes it's like very low to the toe. It doesn't have a whole lot of give. And so these are really, really tight. And I definitely should have bought them probably a size and a half up from my regular size.
Yeah,
I've been doing like hair dryer and stretching, trying to stretch the leather some just so that I could wear them. It was really disappointing because they're so beautiful.
They're very beautiful with the right outfit, and if you find this type of thing sexy. Obviously, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not quiet luxury. They're definitely a statement piece. I tend to buy my wife clothing that your average 25-year-old club girl wears because I'm having a massive midlife crisis. I feel like
very long.
It's been like a 4-year midlife crisis. I feel like we're never gonna look as good as we do right now. Like we're 43 years old. I'm 43 years old, and as far as I'm concerned, it's going in the toilet from here on out. And so we're trying to grab those last minutes of youth that we can. And so I put her in all kinds of cocktail dresses and skimpy, strappy, cleavage bearing, whatever I can find that I think is sexy. Like, I'm gonna soak up these last good days while we have them. These shoes definitely do that. If you're watching this video and you happen to also own these, I would love to hear from you in the comments that we weren't the only people who bought them. And did you have the same problem with mainly this front strap being very, very tight? What did you do, if anything, to get them to be comfortable? I'm afraid that these are just not going to be comfort shoes. And that's, something that you read sometimes about luxury brands, is that they're stand-up, sit-down shoes.
Well, even not luxury brands, a lot of shoes are stand-up, sit-down shoes. These are those.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
These are so cool though because they look so great if you wind them all the way up the calf, halfway up the calf, wind them all around the ankles. The butterflies just set them off, no matter how you wear them.
If you go to my Instagram page, you can see a picture of her wearing them. Her legs are up on the dashboard in my truck, and the light is shining through the dash and glittering off the glistening, whatever I'm trying to say, off the crystals. And they're very, very, very sexy, and they definitely are eye-catching and make a statement. But
after an hour of walking around,
you pay for every look you get.
After an hour of walking around the mall, my feet are swelling around them.
Yeah. So another thing that we got from Versace was my daughter. We went out and bought my daughter a bunch of dresses. I don't know what order all of these pieces are going to be put together. But we found these beautiful dresses for my daughter, and I instantly realized that, oh my God, clearly she needs a black purse. She had a pink purse at the time. I think I got this before we got the white purse. I can't remember, but that's kind of the way my addiction feeds itself, is you find, if I find her a certain color dress, well, now we need a certain color shoes, or we need a certain color bag. And so the same thing happened for my daughter, and instantly she needed a black purse. And I found this Versace La Medusa little heart bag. Again, it's got the croc effect on it. I don't know if the camera's gonna show. She absolutely loved this bag. It's a very good thing that I bought this bag for a 5-year-old. I know that sounds insane, but she doesn't have a cell phone that she carries all the time because she's 5 years old, and a cell phone like an S22, for example, will not fit in this bag. So
it is a kid's
bag, and so like I said, this bag retails for $780. So I started with the $350 Tory Burch purse, and then I upgraded to the $780 Versace La Medusa bag. that she loves, and that's all that matters, I think.
Yeah.
You want to talk about these?
Sure. We learned our lesson with the butterfly sandals and the sails. And so we were looking for some white shoes and found these for sale. So I don't know what their regular price was.
Well, it seems, for some reason, it seems like if you're buying this level of designer, like what I think is considered the luxury brands, it's like you pay just $1,000 or more, it seems like. So I know that there's some Christian Louis Vuittons that you can get for $800. These I think were they were about $900 to $1,000, and we got them, I think, sub 50%. So I paid a little over $400 or something for these shoes.
And I thought they
at Nordstrom.
I thought they were super sexy with this tie-up thing, and you kind of see my feet poking through, and these shiny silver heels, and they're very high, and you have to know how to walk in heels to be comfortable in them. And then they go great with like my jeans. They look awesome with skinny jeans, or especially like a more casual look, and they're just super sexy.
Yeah. So if you care about label whoring, then they've got the La Medusa icon on the back, and then on the little stiletto it says Versace on the side, and the leather's nice and smooth. They really, I wasn't sure about them when we got them. They ended up being very, very cute, and they look great with her denim, and you can really put them with anything. It's kind of a unique look, and again, that's our thing. Like, we don't want, like, I love like the Dior D-Lights that like everybody in America that buys Dior has, and that's great, and we'll probably eventually buy a pair. But when we find something that's like a little bit unique, like, that's kind of our thing. When we go to the mall or we go out in public, we tend to stand out because we're always wearing something outrageous. So that's these.
Size-wise, so these are other Versace shoes, and these are 38.5, and they're a perfect fit. So
next, so again, those were like around $500 on sale.
Then this is the Versace chain belt with the La Medusa hanging, and oh my God, we're like looking at different chain belts because I love chain belts. I like silver, gold is in, but I like the silver, and we found this one with the silver, and I was like pulling stuff out of my closet. I can wear it with this, I can wear it with this, I can wear it with this, I can wear it with so many things. In fact, I would wear it just about every day, probably with everything, because I love it so much. He's like, not with that. Anyway, and it's heavy, and it feels good. It's perfect for my size.
Yeah, so the really embarrassing thing about this chain belt that she left out is, at this stage of the game, we had bought like the Louis purses. We had bought a few pairs of like the Dior shoes you're gonna see in a minute, some Mach and Mach shoes. We bought several pairs of like $1,000 shoes, and we had not yet had our foray into any kind of actual clothing or dresses.
Oh, yeah.
It had just been shoes and bags at this point, because we had looked at some dresses, and I was like, I'm not paying hundreds of dollars for a dress, or thousands of dollars for a dress. That's crazy, If you spend $1,000 for a pair of shoes that you can wear with tons of different outfits, that makes sense, right? Like, I could sell myself on that. If I spend $7,000 on a handbag that is a heirloom piece that my daughter may inherit one day, or at a bare minimum that she can carry hundreds of times a year, that makes sense. But to go and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on a single dress that you're only going to wear once every while, that I had not been able to sell myself on. So again, being a disgusting, terrible, horrible, embarrassing brand whore, what I thought was, hey, if we buy a Versace chain belt, this is embarrassing. This is the things I shouldn't be admitting.
But this is what you do.
But it's how it happened. Okay, yeah. So I decided, if you can't afford to buy a bunch of $1,000 dresses, the thing is with dresses, no one knows what they are. Like, it's not like a lot of other things that's very clearly like, oh, that's, if you're not like way into fashion, you're probably not going to spot, what brand a dress is. So I said, look, we can buy the $700 I think it was $790. How much was it? $900 Versace La Medusa chain belt, and we can hook that around a $40 or $50 dress. Bang, we got a $900 dress, baby. So I decided if we bought an expensive chain belt, we could class up any old crap that we had hanging in the closet, you know, like Fashion Nova, and bang, like all of a sudden, it's a whole new level of luxury. So that was really the impetus for buying the chain belt, which then later ended up becoming designer dresses anyway. But that's honestly, if I'm being totally honest, that's why we bought the chain belt.
And the interesting thing is that I would go out and about with my Louis bag, my Versace belt, my whatever, and somebody almost every time would compliment me on my $25 dress. Like every time. I'm like wearing these $1,000 shoes and they're like, oh my God, that dress. And I'm like, yeah, I got that from Walmart like 19 years ago.
So again, shout out to my buddy John. He told me, and he saw in my videos where I was talking about all of this designer shopping that we've been doing, and he was like, you know what, dude? I went through the same thing, and I like came full circle, and I quit. I went from blowing a bunch of money on designer and luxury fashion and became like an ultra minimalist. So maybe that's what's gonna happen to us. Like we're gonna figure out like, holy shit, you get as many compliments on a $25 dress from Target as you do on a $2,500 Oscar de la Renta dress. So it's like, why, who cares? Who gives a shit? You know, you might as well just buy the cheap one. So there you go, John. You know, hopefully that's where I end up.
But then he did start buying some nice dresses, and when he bought some of these nice dresses, I had several clutches that he'd purchased for me before that I really love. And I pull him out to wear with these nice dresses and shoes and all this stuff. And he was like, you can't carry that bag. Those bags were like $25 on Amazon. You can't carry that bag. And I'm like, but it's beautiful. And he's like, no. So we went to the mall.
So we went to the mall because I bought her a bunch of gowns. So she had these like formal dresses, and she explained to me, I'm a man, I don't know all the rules. She explained to me that with some of these more formal gown type dresses that you don't typically carry like a top handle purse. You would typically carry like a clutch. So I'm like, oh, really? So we need a new kind of bag that I can go research into oblivion and study all of the designs and the different designers. And again, because we like the loud in-your-face kind of fashion, the black clutch that we chose, because we felt like that was like, you know, you gotta have a black clutch, was this Versace La Medusa black crystal clutch, envelope clutch.
Yeah, and so it was interesting because when we went, we had looked at some different ones, because we'd been looking at Valentino, because we really kind of wanted something with Valentino because their emblem kind of goes with our last name. And so we really liked that. But then he had found a Versace clutch that I really liked also. So we go into Versace to check out the Versace clutch, and it was a different one than this. And we try it, and then I'm looking at this one. I'm like, oh my God, they're both so beautiful. How am I gonna choose? And one of the geniuses that worked there was like, why don't you try to put your phone in it? And so I tried to put my phone in the one, and it was nowhere close. It was not gonna fit. So we ended up with this one. I'm so glad we did. This is just the perfect bag, and it's got the chain that I can use the chain if I want to, although thus far I have just carried it as a clutch, and it's all of these tiny beads. I don't know in this light, but the light's not great in here, but like when we're out and about, it is just a showcase. Like
it is fire.
It's so beautiful, shimmering, and even the Medusa head is all like black crystally.
Encrusted.
Oh, so gorgeous.
This is the one that I wanted. So like when I was looking, I kept coming back to the envelope bag for whatever reason. I thought this was the prettiest one. She had actually picked something that was a little bit more like squarish, rectangular. I don't know, I can't remember what it was called.
I can't either.
And we were this close. Like, I mean, we were getting ready to hand over the credit card, and thankfully the gentleman, who I don't know his name, at Versace North Park came running over and was like, she said, why don't you put your phone in there? And it saved us a disaster.
Yeah.
This thing this is definitely one of my favorite bags. It is so beautiful, so eye-catching. It goes with so many things, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it was a good choice.
I think
that's all the Versace.
All the Versace. False alarm. There was one more Versace purchase that I almost forgot about. This was actually one of the first Versace purchases, I believe. I had been shopping, obviously looking for. I was shopping every luxury designer that I could find, and I'm looking at all of their products, and occasionally I would go, I wonder if they have anything for guys. And so I was looking on Versace's website, and I found these boots that are called the Solare or Solare. And I thought they were the weirdest, coolest looking boots I'd ever seen. The second I saw them, I was like, that looks like something straight out of the Matrix, which I won't bore you with all the reasons why that matters to me. And so I went to the store to try them on. They had one pair in stock, and it was not the size that I typically wear, but I thought, well, I'll put them on anyway just to see how they look, if I can get my feet in them at all. And she's like, yeah, just try them on. And so I put them on, I start walking around, and I'm like, damn, I really like these shoes. And she was like, but how do they feel? I'm like, they feel great. And that was another example of where we found out that Italian sizes and European sizes, especially in luxury and designer brands, are nowhere near what US sizes are. So typically in the vast majority of shoes that I wear a 10 or 10 and a half, generally a 10. In Louis Vuitton, I wear an 8. And in these, I believe, are a 9. So they happen to have these in store. I put them on. I immediately fell in love with them, and they're my favorite. They're my favorite boots ever. Maybe I have cowboy boots from Ariat that I really like, but these just, again, with our particular brand of fashion, it's just something you don't see every day, and they literally look like they came out of the Matrix. And
well, you even dialed these back a little, because at first I think you were looking at the silver ones. They look like liquid silver.
Yeah, so if you can see on here the really shiny part of this material, this part here is soft. It's like a calf skin, or I don't know what it's made out of, but it's almost like a sock. And so the only like rigidity to the boot is down here in this shiny black colored part, and they make 3 different looks. One is sort of a copper, the other is, like she said, like a liquid silver, and then there's the black on black. I had actually seen the liquid silver was in stock at Neiman, and I didn't know Versace even had these in their boutique because I couldn't see their inventory online. And so we decided to go to the boutique first, and when she pulled out the black on black, it was like, no, that's the ones. There's a scene in The Matrix where Neo, when they go to Storm to get Morpheus back, what am I? I'm on a fashion show talking about. Anyway, I love these boots. They're amazing.
But if you see them and you love them and you want the silver ones, they're still at Neiman Marcus. You made a good choice.
All right, what do we got next?
So these are my Mach and Mach Wonder Tulip, black satin Wonder Tulips with the all of the crystals on them. Oh my God! When the night that we bought the first Louis Vuitton purse, we're leaving the mall. And we're going out through Nordstrom, and Mike, I think, had already seen these online. And I was like, well, that's ridiculous because they're $1,095. So we're clearly never buying those. But then I saw them in person. And that's the thing with so many of these things. I saw them online and was like, oh, that's nice. Isn't that pretty? And then I saw them in person. I was like, oh my God, that online did nothing for that. And this was even one of those things. And they are so beautiful. And he's like, try them on. I was afraid to put them on my feet because I'm like, I'm afraid I'm gonna break them or tear up the satin or whatever. And then we'll have to buy them. And he's like, just put them on. So I put them on and fell in love. And these have turned out, these Mach and Machs have turned out, so they weren't one of the more famous brands either. So they were kind of new in the fashion industry as of like 2020, I think. And so we were like, okay, we're taking a risk with our very first shoe purchase. But they are some of the most comfortable high heels I have ever owned in my life. I wear them, I can walk, I've walked literally miles in them, like throughout the mall. and they never are uncomfortable on my feet. They don't hurt at all. The only thing is that one crystal fell off, but they were prepared for that because they put crystals in the box so that you can put them back on, or they'll take them in and repair them. But the satin is holding up. I've worn these a ton of times, and I love them.
Yeah, when I first saw them online, I just thought they were breathtaking. It was like, we have to have these shoes. Again, we're not doing reviews on the shoes, but I am to some degree reviewing brands. These were the first designer, expensive shoes that we bought, and we bought them the first night when we bought the first Louis purse. So we'd already spent $4,600 on a purse, and we're walking out of the mall, and then here's these shoes, and she puts them on, and without getting too far, I have a foot fetish, and so I love her feet in beautiful shoes, and she put them on, and I was in love with them. I was like, let's just do it. Let's just get them. So we paid $1,095 for these shoes, and within a couple of months, I looked on Nordstrom's website, and Mach and Mach had slashed the prices of their entire catalog by 50%. I'm not to me, it's like one thing if you have if you struggle to sell, a couple of sizes maybe, or certain items in your whatever your catalog, whatever you call like your inventory, that you would discount those to move product. Like, I get that. And I'm not trying to bash on Mach and Mach. I'm just reporting my experience as a consumer. We paid $1,100 for these shoes, and then a month later, every single model they sold through Nordstrom was 50% off, and when you click each individual one, like 95% of the sizes were available. So I don't know if Mach and Mach just sold no shoes this year, if we're the only people who like this brand. I know they've done a good job of marketing, and they have famous people walking runways or going on red carpets in their shoes. But again, and maybe I sound like a prick, but you destroy your own brand when you slash the price. These got down all the way to $400. Yeah. Again, that's a massive gut punch to spend $1,100 for something that the brand clearly feels is only worth $400.
Well, and then I love these so much, and he loved them too, that we were talking about maybe buying a pair of pink shoes, and they have this in a pink satin, the same shoe in pink, a light pink, and it's so beautiful. And so we were like, they're on sale. So, because everything was on sale, so we could get, this $1,100 pair of shoes for $400. So we actually ordered them online to go pick up. We went to pick them up, and at Nordstrom, when they do this big sale, they put all of the right shoes on a rack. And so everybody comes through and shuffles through the right shoe, and then they have to go and find the left shoe in the back so you can buy them. Well, all of the Mach and Mach satin, they have white satin with blue bows on them. They had all their different satin shoes that are so beautiful. Were all scuffed up. The satin was torn. The backs are scuffed. Like, it was so bad that the manager who worked there, because I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, it's only $400. Can I let these few things go? Maybe I can get these scuffs off. He was like, I would not buy those. I mean, yeah. The guy that worked there was like, the manager was like, you won't be happy with that. And so we didn't buy them, which is really unfortunate because these are some of my favorite shoes I've ever owned. Yeah,
and so that's the thing. Like, you can see with this one right here, it's already kind of floppy because like the wrapping is loose. And so these are delicate shoes. Like, when you buy these shoes, they come individually wrapped. They have individual dust bags. You're expected to take care of them. They have crystals on them. And if you're not careful, the crystals will come off. So this manufacturer...
And I have been very careful with these shoes.
This manufacturer and this designer put all of this love and innovation and their beautiful idea into these shoes that you're expected to buy and love and wear with pride, and you see it laying on the floor inside of Nordstrom getting kicked around by people who are stumbling through there, and it's really, really heartbreaking. Yeah. Because they're such a beautiful shoe. Like she said, they're so comfortable, and it's really unfortunate that Mach and Mach does not care more about their own brand than their customers clearly do. We clearly valued them more than they valued their own product, and this will almost certainly be the last Mach and Mach shoes I ever purchase.
And I would tell you, if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the way that went down, I would say that Mach and Mach might be the next most up and coming luxury brand, because they have everything they have is beyond what you can imagine. This beautiful, delicate, feminine. Every design is amazing, and the way they've tweaked them each year, each season, they've done a great job with everything except valuing their own brand. So that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like if you. When you study, if you read the news for retail in general, like I've read lots of articles saying that a lot of brands have warehouses full of product because inflation and all these things, and so maybe we're being unfairly harsh on a brand due to unique, climate, like shopping climate, but it's a two-way street. So like I can appreciate that a brand doesn't want to lose their ass when they have products piling up in their warehouse, but by the same token, a customer doesn't want to spend $1,100 on a shoe that you can get for $400. So when you devalue your product for whatever reason, you devalue your product. I really have way more respect for companies like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, who would rather burn a product or destroy it than ever let it end up rolling around on a floor for somebody to step on and destroy.
And Mach and Mach, I mean, in all of those brands that do that, the shoes that we purchase at $1,100, if the middleman can sell them for $400, then it doesn't cost very much for them to make. They're making plenty of profit on $400, which means if everybody who bought them, if only half the number of people bought them, but we all bought them at $1,100, then it makes up for what they lose in destroying the other products, or even taking them apart and using them in other ways.
Yeah, so that's where we already started learning our lesson to stick with brands like Gucci, Louis, Christian Dior, Chanel, the brands that Christian Louis Vuitton, the brands that defend themselves, who actually respect their product. And one of the things that you find interesting is that the brands that I just named, outside of Versace, which has been around forever, most of these designer fashion houses that protect their brands have been around since World War II. And so those are the brands that seem to be, and again, I'm brand new to this. So somebody may get in the comment section and tell me I'm a total asshole and I don't know anything about how fashion works. But outside of Versace, which I know was bought by Michael Kors, and maybe that's the reason for the severe discounting, I have not seen that be true of Christian Louboutin, Gucci, Dior, Chanel, Prada. Like, at no point did I see those brands getting these deep, massive discounts. And so in the future, when we go out to spend our hard-earned money or our retirement money or whatever money we're spending, it's just not worth the buyer's remorse to invest in brands like Sophia Webster. I hate to break it to you, your products are all beautiful, but your discounts destroy your brand. Mach and Mach, your products are beautiful, your marketing strategy destroys your brand.
Yeah.
These shoes are from Christian Dior.
So we get the Mach and Machs, and they're so expensive, and so I think, oh my gosh, now the same day with the first Louis, so I'm like, I've got the most expensive and only expensive purse I'm ever gonna own. I've got the most expensive and only expensive pair of shoes I ever own. So then 2 weeks later, we go and buy another Louis, and then he's like, well, you're not wearing those Mach and Machs all the time. I'm like, I can't. Satin, crystal, like those don't go with everything. You can't wear that with everything. And so he's like, oh, well, you need a more casual shoe. So he's like, let's go look for a more casual shoe. And I'm like, we don't need any more shoes. You can't keep buying these things. And so, of course, we went to Neiman's and started shopping for shoes. And we found these Christian Dior, oh no, I forgot.
Capture.
Yeah. And they have so they're different than the J'adore slingbacks. They have this little thing over the front of the foot, and they're a little dressier than he thought, but they look great with my jeans. They look great with, a ton of I wear them a lot with some of my cocktail dresses, and they really look great with everything. I could wear them with my most formal, I can wear them with anything. And they're kind of see-through, but not totally. That seems really in right now with all of this floral embroidery and the butterfly embroidery, and they're also extraordinarily comfortable. I can wear these all over and feel comfortable and beautiful.
Yeah, so literally what I said to her was that we had the sort of, what we thought in the Mach and Mach was this extravagant shoe, and that we needed something sort of all-purpose. Like, what could you potentially wear with jeans that would class up the jeans and not look ridiculous, but that you could also wear with a nice gown or a cocktail dress or something else. And of all the shoe purchases, these Dior capture shoes are just immaculate. They with the open heel, it looks sexy on her foot. Everything about these, they're awesome. They're super versatile.
Do you remember what we paid for these? 14?
Yeah, these were the Christian Dior shoes. You're gonna with Chanel and Dior, you're gonna pay more. I think they were like $1,400. They were definitely over 12. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe it was 1,200 plus tax. They were definitely over 1,000. They were $1,200 plus for these shoes. Worth every single penny. If for no other reason than they are $1,200, they stay $1,200. They didn't end up on the floor at Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom. Neiman, I don't think does that, but it just feels a lot better buying Dior. And so, of course, once you get into the Dior boutique, which is a totally different experience, one of the best experiences you can have. Their storefronts are immaculate. If you follow Dior on Instagram, like the decoration of their stores is just beautiful. Breathtaking.
It's worth going to their stores just to look at it.
Yeah, it's breathtaking. You go into one of the boutiques, and that's the thing that sucked us into this whole experience. You know, we started out at Nordstrom and Neiman, and we end up like, if we could buy it in the boutique, we bought it in the boutique, because the experience that you get, the way you are treated when you walk into Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, these boutique stores, is like they are rolling out the red carpet for you. You are treated so well. Do you want water? Would you like a glass of champagne? Do you want a back massage? It's like, they will do anything. They make you feel right at home and comfortable. They bring all the products. It's just an amazing experience.
They make us feel important. And I know that we're just a sale, but still, they make us feel important. That's a lot of them remember our names when we come through. They remember what we got the last time we were there. You know, they're texting with, hey, these are the things you were looking at today, and you know, and these are things that will be coming out, or I mean, we're getting a new designer, and so new stuff coming out with that, and it just really makes you feel like you're important to them.
Yeah, so it's a very different experience when you spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes in the Dior or in one of the boutique stores. The way you're treated spending that $1,000 versus the way you're treated spending the exact same money on the exact same shoe at Neiman, night and day. Night and day. I love Neiman Marcus. The people there have all been phenomenal. I'm not complaining about who they are. Like, it's great to be able to go to one place and have access to all the brands. And obviously that's what you're getting when you go to Neiman Marcus. You're accepting less of the red carpet experience for more easy access to a variety of products. And everyone at Neiman has been amazing. Mm-hmm. But there is no comparison to the boutique experience.
In fact, we've become such snobs that we were like, there's a Zara in this mall that we go to, and so we passed it several times. They have all this cute stuff, and so one day we're like, I was telling him, like, I'd like to go in there and look at some of the stuff they have, because it's fast fashion, it's not expensive, but it's in this mall that has all of these really high-end stores. It's just, so we go into Zara. Nobody greets us. There are two sales girls there that are bickering about their
They're standing
commission.
right behind us. Like, I'm grabbing one thing after another off the rack, handing to her. She's got a wad of clothes in her hands, and they're 3 feet behind us,
bickering about their commission structure, complaining about it really. And then they're like, nobody's like, hey, can I get you a dressing room or whatever. So then, but that's okay. Like, you know, I've spent my life shopping at stores. Like this is okay with me. So we go back to the dressing room, and the dressing room was like this big, so you couldn't even get dressed, and it had a curtain instead of a door. So the curtain didn't close enough that whoever's standing out there, they could see in the mirror and see me changing clothes. I was so frustrated. And the woman at the dressing room who was like, okay, go here, go. She was so rude and unhelpful. I just could not. And then in all the other places where we went, Mike could come back there with me. But here there wasn't room, and they wouldn't let him back there, you know, women change. And I said, the reason you can't come back here is because everybody can see everybody back here. It was just totally disgusting experience. So bad that I quit trying on the clothes, and it was filthy dirty. The floors were filthy dirty. And so there's no place to set like my purse or my clothes or whatever. I can't flip them over the door because there's no door. And there weren't hooks to hang everything on, not enough hooks in there. It was such a bad experience. I just put my clothes back on. I left cussing all the way out the door and didn't buy. Oh, and it was self-check, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just that we became snobs after all these other wonderful
The other places will totally spoil you.
Yeah.
It's gonna, when we run out of money, it's gonna be a very, very long fall back to reality. But the thing that's crazy is that these girls are complaining about their commissions, okay, their lack of commission, while we have hundreds of dollars of clothes piled up over us that we're carrying around the store, planning on buying, and she loved the majority of the clothes. Yeah. We would have spent hundreds of dollars in Zara if we had gotten any service at all. Because everything we buy doesn't need to cost $1,000. It's like we're not that fucking crazy at this point. Like, we understand that like there's value all the way up and down the price spectrum. And so we would have spent money in those stores, and their staff and their entire experience left a lot of it in my pocket. So, and now it's the point where I won't even go back. There's zero chance I will ever go back into a Zara. Zara could see this video and send me a $500 gift card, and I'll fucking cut it in half.
We literally, every time now we're in the mall, we walk by and we're like, ugh, Zara. Every time we pass it, what a frustrating experience that was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got those Dior shoes, and Mike, you know, because he's constantly researching and shopping all the time, and he fell in love with a lot of Dior products.
Love it.
And so then he got into a whole new thing when he started discovering makeup and all the designer makeup. So now I'm not pulling out all the makeup, but I now have, I've used Bare Minerals for years, and now I have all this Dior.
Why did you start using Bare Minerals?
Because you smashed all of my other makeup in a fight. Everything I owned, you smashed.
Why did you end up with Bare Minerals?
Because you said, I made my last wife use Bare Minerals, and that's better than the Merle Norman that you're using. So you need to go use Bare Minerals.
She was using Merle Norman. Bare Minerals was clearly better than that. I had her on the Bare Minerals. She looked phenomenal on Bare Minerals.
I looked phenomenal on the Merle Norman.
We loved Bare Minerals. The only reason we stopped buying Bare Minerals is because we couldn't find it anymore. Apparently Bare Minerals is going out of business. Every time we would go to Sephora or Ulta or Bare Minerals, then they closed the Bare Minerals store. You try to order it. Getting makeup is a total pain in the ass.
The Bare Minerals store at North Park Mall can kiss my ass because it's the worst shopping experience I've ever had in my life. And so I'm glad they went out of business. But they had discontinued some of my colors, so I was trying to find new colors. Anyway, so he's like, let's just make the switch. So he is researching makeup like crazy. So we went with mostly Dior, a little bit of Chanel, mostly Dior makeup. It took us a couple of tries to get some things right, but we really love all my Dior makeup. And then it was Dior skincare and nail polish. And I've been enjoying trying their different skincare products, and their nail polish is amazing. And now I've got some of their perfumes.
Yeah, and I shopped the entire gamut. So like I was looking at Charlotte Tilbury, I was looking at MAC, I was looking at Armani. I mean, literally, I looked at I was reading, I know more about makeup than any heterosexual man has a right to. Like, I studied so much makeup, read reviews, I watched YouTube videos where women were putting one foundation on one side of their face, another foundation on the other side of their face so that they could compare the gloss versus the matte. I know about lip pencils, eye makeups. I mean, it's like insane, and that's part of my addiction thing, is that I want to know everything there is. Part of what got me sucked into Dior, for some reason, I guess I'm just a Dior fanboy to some degree or another. I do like the history of the company, but like, I bought her a bunch of Dior products for Christmas. The gifts that you get from Dior when you buy online, it's insane. Like, you spend $150 on Dior products and you get gifts that have to be at least worth $150. I think I made one purchase, ended up getting 2 different gift sets for the one purchase. And so it's all about that level of customer service. They make you feel valued as a customer.
Yeah.
It comes in this beautiful box.
So pretty. Everything's packaged so beautifully. I don't even know what's in here right now, but everything comes in such beautiful bags and boxes, and I don't know, this doesn't have all of the
It's just got some of the boxes that was in it. But like
these velvet bags.
You have colors in here, did you know that?
Yeah, those are the blues. I haven't worn that dress yet.
She's got makeup in here that hasn't even come out of the box. We might want to put that somewhere else. So, this is all empty.
Okay.
Everything is packaged so nicely. Like, there's an example of what I'm talking about. Which, you know, you're paying for that. I'm not an idiot. I understand that half the reason this stuff costs so much more than something else is because you're paying for this beautiful gift wrapping, and I probably could have just as easily bought like Mac and then had somebody gift wrap for half the price.
But you could have also chosen the eco-friendly wrapping. And
they do offer eco-friendly.
We're like, no, we want the pretty stuff.
As you can see, for better or worse, we don't care at all about the environment. I want the beautiful packaging. I want all of this sexy, beautiful boxes with all the little drawstrings. If you don't sell your product, I expect you to put it in a furnace and burn it into the atmosphere rather than putting it on a discount rack in Nordstrom. Like, as what somebody said to me on Instagram, like, you don't care about sustainability. And it's like, dude, pull your head out, okay? This is a wrap. AI is gonna finish us all off. Can I have some sexy, beautifully wrapped packages before the robots kill us all? Here you go.
So then, something else we got was, so we've been looking at Valentino stuff because we really like their logo, because we're Van Dusen, so it has like the V and it looks like a VD, and we really love that. And so he found this necklace, and it's a Swarovski pearl and rubidium. It's a choker, and it's so beautiful. We see it online. We're like, he's like, this was right at the beginning. This was before we bought the white Louis. And he's like, let's go. They have it in stock here at Highland Park Village. It's just 30 minutes from us or so. So he's like, let's go look. So we go to look, and they said they didn't have it, which we later found out they did. They just couldn't find it. We go to look, and they don't have it, so we didn't buy it then, and we ended up buying the Louis purse. And then we went back.
I'm over here staring at it while you talk.
I know.
This is the necklace. Unfortunately, their little box hides the logo, but my last name, as you can see from the channel, is Van Dusen, and the logo looks like V and D. And so I wanted her to have a choker, like a day collar, for those of you who knows what that is, that had my initials on it. So she now has a day collar with my initials on it.
Yes, and I'm not ashamed. So, and the lady, when we were buying it, she's like, that's from the men's line. And, well, online it says unisex, and the truth is I just don't care, because it's so freaking beautiful. Will you hold the box, please?
Yes.
Because it's so freaking beautiful. And we were talking about the look of it is like, it's part Jackie Kennedy, part rock and roll, I was saying, but it's very like an aggressive beauty. But so maybe they can see you want to show the VD.
Well, yeah, because since they did say that this is from the men's line, you know, maybe I should model it a little bit here. See,
it's real hot.
I don't think I don't think this is my style, babe.
No, but it is mine.
Yeah.
So you always tell me I'm not very feminine anyway.
So there, if the can, yeah, there you go. So you can see it looks kind of like VD, which I understand is an unfortunate last name, VD, but what can you do? I didn't pick it.
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Yeah, so Valentino is another relatively good experience in the boutique. This video is going long and I'm getting a little bit hangry, so maybe I'm being too critical. Honestly, not the best boutique experience that we've had, but it's very nice products for sure. So another brand that I fell in love with, and then we, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, in all of our complaining, our snobbish, disgusting, ugly complaining, that we kind of fell out of love with is Sophia Webster. I think my daughter's going to model this purse for you all in a later video. She wants to be a part of the fashion show, as she's calling it. This is a Sophia Webster Amore bag, or Amore bag. It is a beautiful, beautiful bag. It has like little faux, oh, almost dropped the beautiful bag. It has faux white pearls, and then I don't know if the lighting is capturing this, but in the center of this heart that's wrapped again in faux white pearls are a bunch of crystals, and the bling off these crystals is amazing. So it's a little top handle, and then the chain, I don't know why I'm...
Crossbody.
So you can crossbody. Apparently Sophia Webster's thing is sort of directed toward bridal. A lot of her products, and this one included on the inside, has this very...
Is that a bird flew into the window?
Our cat is on the window. It says to have and to hold on the inside, which is, I think, is their little thing. So
she has a lot that are like wifey, and they have
wifey for lifey.
Yeah, wifey for lifey.
So I got this purse really for my daughter is what I bought it for. But the beautiful thing is that, you know, she can share with Sarah. So if Sarah needs, you know, something, you know, she carries it too. So it's a beautiful little handbag. We did pay $780 for this retail, and 2 weeks later it was on sale for $380, and luckily I was able to get a price match on this one, so we have less of a bad taste in our mouth with Sophia Webster. I've been rather harsh on Sophia Webster on Instagram, but it is what it is.
But she does have some of the most beautiful shoes known to man.
And she also does not respond to people who complain, but does respond to people who promote. Not a good look, honestly.
So these are the Sophia Websters that Mike bought for me. We saw these.
I found them online and fell instantaneously in love. Let me take this up to the camera.
Yeah.
These are on my Instagram. These are the Sophia Webster Crystal Butterfly shoes. It's like I think there's 3 little butterflies here, and they have crystals in them. And again, they won't come through on this video probably, but they are stunning. And every time she wears them, she gets buried in compliments.
And on the back, it's like they're thick. So they're not like spindly or anything. They feel very sturdy, and everybody loves them. And they're so delicate and eye-catching, and you feel like a princess. I definitely feel like a princess when I put them on.
Well, she will not be the only person wearing these shoes. So I do track inventory and I watch buying habits because I'm addicted. And so of all of the Sophia Webster things that I saw get discounted, these apparently sold out within days. So I was looking at them when they were pre-order, and I almost purchased them pre-order. We ended up purchasing them the day they went live, and I think they were gone in 3 or 4 days. So that's one of those things, you know, when you get a bad taste in your mouth with a brand because they discount product, and you go, screw it, I'm going to wait till they go on sale, they might not ever go on sale. Unfortunately, one of the things that did happen that I did see because I was tracking inventory levels, Sophia Webster sold that white bag that I showed you at $780, and then they slashed the price to $480, and they sold out. And then I got a new marketing email like a few weeks later that they had run another batch and this white purse was back in stock for $780. It's like, wait a minute. You just sold it at $380, presumably to get rid of it. You got rid of it, now it's back online for $780. It was online for $780 for 1 week, and then they slashed it again. Now, come on, like, what are you trying to do? That makes you feel like you are literally trying to take advantage of customers when you flip-flop prices like that. So again, because of that experience, despite how beautiful the products are, unless they produce something that we just feel like we cannot live without, there's 0% chance I will pay retail again from Sophia Webster.
Just to be clear, those butterfly sandals were cannot live without.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we got the butterfly sandals.
And then when he did start getting into the dresses and stuff, and we're like, you know, we're not spending thousands of dollars on dresses. This is ridiculous. So the Oscar de la Renta, especially the runway dresses, are like amazing, but they're several $1,000s. And so we found dress after dress that were like, oh my God, but it's $6,000, I'm not doing that. But then he had an Oscar de la Renta box to check. So we checked them with these, I don't know.
Because we checked the box with these Oscar de la Renta beautiful butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Butterfly earrings, because they went on sale.
Oh, that's
for
right.
50% off. So again, Oscar de la Renta makes some of the most beautiful freaking dresses I have ever seen. You can easily pay in excess of $10,000 for an Oscar de la Renta dress, and then you can turn around and somebody else can buy that same $10,000+ dress for half the price. And so somebody in the comments help me understand this. Clearly, I'm a, what's my word? I'm a caveman. I clearly don't understand. There's a word for this I'm looking for. It's from Studio 54, Movie Studio 54. It'll come to me when I no longer need it. Nevertheless, clearly there's something about high fashion or whatever that I don't understand. I don't understand how a designer like Oscar de la Renta can make a dress, sell it for $14,000, not sell all of them apparently. A troglodyte, that's the word. Yeah. Apparently I'm a troglodyte and I don't understand the fashion industry, so please, someone in the comments section, educate me on why Oscar de la Renta sells dresses for $14,000 and then turns around and sells the same dress that somebody presumably took home and loved to somebody else for $6,000. How can you do that and not alienate your client base? Help me to understand that.
Why don't you tell them about these? These are your faves.
Next on the list, a big box for me to check was Gucci. I love Gucci, and we just weren't coming up with a product from Gucci actually we did buy 2 Gucci products, but these were the ones that I was excited about the most. Again, you're not going to be able to see. They are, oh, there we go. I think that's picking up a little bit. These mules, except for some reason on Gucci's website, it says slides. Again, I'm a guy, so I don't know. I thought if it was open-toed and no straps or anything in the back, that it was a mule. And if it was closed-toed and closed-heeled, then it was a pump. And if it was open-toed and strappy, then it was a sandal. Do I have that fucked up? Regardless, these Gucci mules / slides are absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to get pictures of her sexy feet in these shoes because they've got like a mesh that you can kind of see through, and then her pretty little painted Dior toes will stick out the bottom. And so these will be coming on my Instagram as soon as I can get her to put them on for me and take some pictures.
So he found these way back when we bought the Dior shoes. The ones that we wanted for like more casual, and he found these. And, I won't get them. And he said he wanted me to buy these. Well, I liked the other ones, and I was like, I'm not really into the mule. I don't think that's the way I'm gonna go. And anyway, he spent I don't know how many hours trying to talk me into these shoes. And then every time we went to the mall, he's like, let's look at the Gucci mules again. Let's look at these again. Let's go. And we looked at them so many times and finally bought them after like 3 months of him beating me down. And they are very comfortable and very beautiful, and I love them.
And we bought them from an amazing gentleman named Juan,
He's our
who
favorite.
works for Gucci in North Park Mall. And I love Louis. I love you guys. But I have to be honest, Juan was the best customer service experience we had anywhere, hands down. One of the things that Juan did that separated him from everyone else was that we felt like we lived in the store. They just rolled out the red carpet for us. But as much money as I spent, which is shameful, admittedly, I could have easily spent more. What no one was doing at these stores, like I would walk into Louis and we'd be looking at a bag and Louis would sell you a bag. But they wouldn't take you and go, here's some shoes and a belt and a wallet and a scarf and a shirt. And I don't understand that. And I think from talking to some of the people at Louis, that their objective is to sort of be hands off. But sometimes people want to be sold. And so what Juan did is he reached out to me in text message and he said, hey, thanks for buying these items. Here's some of the other items that you were looking for. And then he recommended, hey, because you looked at this Gucci horsebit purse, I found this other thing that maybe you should consider. And that's the kind of customer service that I'm looking for, because then that gives me an excuse to spend more money, which is what I want to do. So take advantage of me. I'm here to be taken advantage of, and none of the other stores really did that. And the experience at Gucci was really very, very good.
Yeah. These are some Gucci boots that I bought. And again, it's gonna be hard to see, but they have the double G. Oh, there, I think you can see it. Embroidered all the way up. They're just above the knee, and they are like sock-like. So they're very stretchy. They're not leather, and they, have little heel and of course little Gucci on the bottom, which I love. They're relatively comfortable. They're not comfortable like my Dior's or my Mach and Machs, but they're definitely comfortable they're not stand up, sit down shoes. And we bought these. We actually went to buy them in the boutique, and then they didn't have them, and we wanted them so badly that we bought them from Neiman Marcus instead.
I won't do that again. Yeah. I apologize, Gucci. From now on, we will order to the boutique, have them delivered, come back and pick them up.
Yeah, we will definitely should have waited on that. So, but they have been worn a lot. I wear them mostly with my jeans, but I've worn them with some dresses and stuff. And Mike says that it makes me look like a hooker, and I just don't care because I think they're fabulous. He said he told me they were very Julia Roberts.
I did not say that. You said like in Pretty Woman, and those are patent leather. They're not anything like this. That's not what I'm saying. I think that, admittedly, I think they have a look to them. There may or may not be a picture on my Instagram. If there's not yet, there will be. And I'm not saying, in fact, if you look up thigh-high boots, everything that you will read about that style is that they're intended to convey a sexuality that is akin to a streetwalker. So it doesn't make you a streetwalker because you have fucking $1,600 Gucci thigh-high boots on, but it is sort of the objective to give you that level of appeal and aesthetic. And so when I wore them to Thanksgiving, let's be honest.
When I wore them to Thanksgiving with a sweater dress and my Versace belt, he definitely made fun of me to his dad about my hooker boots.
My dad asked how much. I mean, I'm joking, he didn't do that.
So that's what we've gotten from Gucci so far.
Yeah, so far. There's a lot of Gucci I want to buy right now, and if I wasn't crunching numbers, I would be at Gucci tomorrow spending at least $5,000. What do we have next?
So another box that he wanted to check was, so I have a thing about sunglasses. And I always I never spend more than $20 on a pair of sunglasses. I always buy them from Walmart because I don't ever want to worry about them. I don't want to worry about losing them. I put them up on my head, they fall off the back. I don't want to stress about it. You know, I've got kids, I used to work with kids, and so didn't want to worry because they're always snatching your sunglasses. I didn't want to worry about them. So I've never owned sunglasses that were, except again, a gift from your stepmom is awesome, but that were nicer. I can't remember. Nicer than my $20 ones. And Mike wanted me to have some nicer sunglasses, and he wanted to check a Chanel box. So we did. And we got these. You might have to open them for me.
So before somebody gets on me in the comments, I'm pretty sure that Chanel does not make sunglasses. I'm pretty sure that Chanel licenses their brand to a company called Luxottica. So I'm guessing that these are actually Luxottica glasses, but whatever, they say Chanel on the side, and when you're label whoring, that's what you're buying is a label. And so these are her Chanel glasses. Whether they came from Luxottica or not, they are in the nice little Chanel box that's very consistent with their brand. And so this was the first Chanel that she got because I was afraid she wasn't going to get any other Chanel.
Because of the $11,000 bag that we didn't buy. Because
Chanel's very, very, very proud of their products, as well they should be. I think the biggest reason, I love Chanel. I love Chanel for so many reasons that I will not get into right now on this channel. I would love Chanel more if they made men's products. Because there's so much that I can invest into a company when I can't buy anything for myself. And I think that's the biggest reason why in that brand of fashion, I lean more in the direction of Christian Dior. Because I can buy from Dior. Dior does make products for men. Coco, why were you hating on us? We love you. And we wanted to wear Chanel too, at least some of us did. And so I think that's the reason, I love Chanel's products. It was really important to me that we checked that box. And so one of the last purchases that we made in this giant blow up was what we're about to show you. So one of the things that also is difficult when it comes to Chanel versus, for example, Dior or Louis Vuitton, is you can go on Louis and Dior's website and you can find the product that you want. You can look through all of the things they sell. You can find which boutique anywhere in America has the product, and then you can walk into the store and get it. When you go on Chanel's website, Chanel, I love you. This is massively your weakness. I understand that you want us to come into the store. I would really like a better online experience. Even if you don't sell your product online, I would really like to be able to see every product that you sell displayed on your website so I could at least walk into a boutique and say, that one. Instead, what happened is we walked into a boutique not expecting to buy anything at all, and I saw this on the shelf and said, that one.
So when we went to Chanel, we went into the Chanel boutique the first time, the sweet girl, Sharina, helped us, and then we did not buy a bag. So when we went back the other day, that was back at the very beginning of September.
Yeah.
So it was beginning of September, beginning of September. And so we went back the week before Christmas.
It was
2 days before Christmas. We went back. So this is more than 2 months later. We've not been to this place in the in-between. We walk in the store, Sharina is standing at the door, and she's like, oh, and she remembered us. She remembered that the last time we were there, it was his birthday. She remembered what we were looking for. She remembered the entire experience, even down to names and birthdays.
This woman met us one time in life.
And we didn't even buy anything from her.
And we didn't buy. We walked through the door, and she had it all, bang, like that.
And so we bought this from her. I love this purse so much.
So take it up there.
Okay. So you can see, is it getting it? It's not.
Get your face out of the camera. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so it's got this little, this twist here to open it. And this is one of the things I love. It's got the metal top handle that has the pink, and then it's got these lines in it. So pretty and textured. It's got their kind of signature quilted look. And then when you open it up, first of all, it's got the braided chain. I'm a huge fan of the braided chain in all of these. And it's like a wallet inside. So it's got a place for your cards. It's got your coin purse here, and it's got another little spot here. So it's just like a, this wasn't the wallet on a chain. It was one.
No,
something
that's
else
the
they
thing.
call
When
it.
you try to look it up online, there may be a tag inside there. I was trying to look it up online to even figure out what we purchased. And again, I found out that I guess you can't actually find all of their products online. The tag calls it a purse with chain. And then there's like another name for it. One thing says purse with chain. The other side of the tag says clutch with chain. So, and then they give you a QR code, but you scan it and it doesn't take you anywhere. So, again, maybe somebody who's versed in Chanel can help this troglodyte understand their process. I know that this is for verification of authenticity, among other things, but how can I feed my addiction? How can I know everything that Chanel has on offer so that I can start the gears spinning to concocting all of the reasons that I need to convince my wife that we should go out and buy this thing that we absolutely do not need? And that's the thing, like, for anybody who may be listening to some of the complaints that I'm having and, you know, the snobbish behavior that you may be hearing, the thing that you have to understand, though, is all of these purchases, every single thing that we've showed you tonight, there may be more, I don't even know, we've got to be getting close to the end. We don't need any of these things. They are all luxuries. So if you want to convince me to spend an exorbitant amount of money on something I do not need, you have to go above and beyond. And so if I sound like a snob because I'm complaining that Sophia Webster slashed their price 50% in a month, it's just because of the fact that your product is very, very expensive and I'm buying it as a complete luxury in life, and you have to make me continue to believe that what I'm getting is luxury. And Chanel does that in fabulous fashion.
Yeah. So there are a lot of other things that I don't have in here because there are all of the dresses, the Gorski cape that is one of my favorite things I've ever owned in life. That I don't know if you want us to go get, or we can show it another time.
Yeah, so I don't know if on this video whether we're gonna go and have her, like, I bought, I don't know, 10, 12, I don't know how many dresses. The dresses that we bought range in price from like $800, you know, down to $50. So,
so you bought like 30, but I returned a whole bunch of them because, as it turns out, that doing a little bit of bodybuilding fucks up what you can wear because my back is too big. I've got lats, and girls, I guess, aren't supposed to have lats, and so then I'm a size 2 everywhere except some parts of me are a size 4, and so if it's not bodycon, it's not. So it's been a little bit of a disaster. So the number I think we have sent back almost as much stuff as we've kept.
We definitely had to return a lot of dresses. When the sizing is 2, 4, and it's very explicit as to what that is, then the success rate is high. When it's extra small, small, medium, it's almost a guaranteed fail. And so we bought this jacket she's wearing right now, or this little cardigan. What is this?
I don't know.
Whatever this is called. We got from Alice and Olivia. And
My new favorite brand.
it's definitely one of our new favorite clothing brands. Not crazy high expensive, definitely not on the low end. The pants she's wearing were $350. The top was like $300. And so she's got tons of formal dresses, cocktail dresses, all kinds of dresses that maybe we'll do a separate video on dresses. I don't know, I'm gonna have to put all of this together. But the point of this was to talk a little bit about our experience in the boutiques, why I got sucked into this and why I think she ended up having so much fun, and to showcase like this is what can happen. Like very easy. I mean, I guess it can't happen very easily if you don't have if you weren't done with your money and take all your retirement out. I took a bunch of retirement money out, so here it was sitting here for me to play with, and I just
played.
I completely lost my mind, and all of this has been purchased from like September until 3 days before Christmas. In fact, a dress just arrived 2 days ago that I purchased. So there really are a lot of very pretty dresses. So maybe we'll do like a dress haul or try on, or maybe what we could do is we could put together some videos where I pair we pair a dress with some shoes and a purse, and maybe do some reviews like that. I don't know what will happen. I'm gonna have to put this on the editing. This video is probably already monstrously long.
This is like half cry for help and half like if you work for Dolce & Gabbana, send us the, we haven't bought anything from you yet, so you got some lasers and some silver purses and some silver shoes we like, so kind of send us those to him. Like it's like this in between, like we cannot do this anymore. You have to stop spending. And then one day it's like I'm like, you please stop, don't buy anything else. And then he's like, what about this? I'm like, well, maybe that.
I really want to spend $10,000 more. Like I know it's crazy to sound like I've already picked out $10,000 worth of goods that definitively I could go straight to the boutiques today. There's some of them are from Gucci, and like and there's several from Gucci. Gucci, Juan. Another thing I almost forgot. Another thing that I bought myself was this watch. This is it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I bought this tag. It's gonna focus her face, I'm afraid. This tag Carrera watch right here was a gift to me because I've always wanted kind of a nice watch, and I really fell in love with this. This was $3,600, I think. So I don't know what this is going to look like in editing. You may be seeing a total running down your screen here. But again, this video has not been intended to brag, or it was purely for the purposes of showing my typical audience what happens when somebody with my unique neurochemistry gets set loose with a whole bunch of money and a mandate to spoil his wife and daughter to the maximum. So I don't know whether my daughter's videos made it into this cut or what, but there you have it. That's the majority, I think, of what we bought for God knows how much money. Maybe there'll be a total. And if you happen to be an employer who works for Gucci or Dolce or Louis or Versace or somebody I didn't bash, obviously.
Or somebody you did. Maybe you could up their brand.
Yeah, maybe I could come to work for you and fix your marketing. I have fallen in love with this industry, and I'm giving serious thought to trying to go to work in this industry, because I would love nothing more than to be able to spend all my time talking about this and comparing this and tracking this, and it's amazing. One of the many things that got me sucked in, especially to Louis, is that everything they make is limited. So Louis has tons of products, but they're all limited runs. So a particular purse, they may only make 40 of them. And so there's something really special feeling about having something that very few people have, and that's what creates the value. And so some of you may be like, who gives a shit, that's crazy. I don't care if I just take the purse off the shelf at Walmart. I'm really, really thankful that my wife is just mine. There's only one of her, and she's only been married to one other man before me, and that creates a tremendous amount of value, and that's what you get when you buy a product from a designer or a brand like a Gucci or Louis or Dior, where you're getting something that is very rare and limited in quantity, and that somebody put their heart and soul in. And the feeling you get from owning that is remarkable. And then as somebody said in the comments, and somebody's probably going to say in the comments here, you know, a lot of this either retains its value, potentially gains value. And so, if, you know, if I can't find a job and suddenly we're struggling to pay our bills, we'll get to enjoy these things for a while, and then she can sell the purses or maybe the shoes or whatever and recoup some of that money. And that's not something you can do when you just buy, you know, any old thing that you find hanging. Zara. Yeah, you're not reselling Zara. So there you have it. Anything in closing?
I think we've beaten this to death.
So anyway, there you have it. My camera stopped and told me that apparently I'm not allowed to record anymore tonight. So I know that I'm going to catch a lot of abuse in the comments. I deserve it. Admittedly, like I said from the beginning, I trespassed into a world that I know nothing about. And so I've probably spoken about a number of these things from a complete position of ignorance, and I am open to being educated because I really do not mean to drag anybody. We've had amazing experiences with the majority of the people and the brands that we patronized during this period of total abject insanity. So there you have it. As always, thanks for watching this video. Comments in the section below, and we'll see you on the next one.